Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Thursday, April 6th, and we have UFC 210 coming up this Saturday in Buffalo. Daniel Cormier and Rumble Johnson, the rematch. We're going to talk with our regular MMA expert, contributor, analyst, Andreas Hale. Andreas Hale, thanks for being back with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, DC against Rumble Johnson, the rematch, and obviously we know what the factors here are, right? In the first fight, obviously Rumble Johnson gave Cormier his normal onslaught of just brutal punishment. He was able to weather it. Rumble tired, and then Cormier was able to finish him off. This is just a classic fight of a matchup of a disciplined guy, Cormier against a guy with a ton of power, but the reputation, at least, for being maybe lacking in discipline a little bit, and the question is, how much will he be able to improve on that reputation? He's saying that he's, and the reports are that he's actually significantly improved since the first fight, and if that's the case, then probably he'll have the edge here. Cormier, again, is also getting on in years. He's taken a lot of punishment. He's 38. He'll at some point start to decline. Again, though, a very disciplined fighter. Just a basic question. Do you think this fight is going to be any different from the first fight, or roughly go as the first fight went?
It'll be pretty much the same. It just is a matter of if Johnson catches Cormier flush with that punch that he caught him in the first round, if it'll knock him out. That's really it. Nothing much has really changed between these two fighters in the last 2 years. Rumble still knocks people out before the 2.5 round mark. Cormier still wrestles and wears down his opponent. So we're looking at the same fight from both guys. It's just a matter of can Rumble connect early on, because the longer the fight goes, it's clearly in Cormier's favor. So we're not looking at too much different here.
I guess the only thing people are wondering about is, first of all, is Cormier's sort of advancing age going to make him significantly less able to weather the early onslaught from Johnson, or do you think he's basically at the same level he was for the first fight?
He's at the same level. I don't see anything different with Cormier. He can take a ton of punishment, if necessary. He took some shots against Gustafsson that would have put a lot of people down. He took Rumble's shot. Rumble's shot has put down many of fighters, and Cormier got up and trucked right through it. So I don't think much has changed. The chin doesn't change. The cardio, he's shown that he can go 5 rounds. The question is, can Rumble go 5 rounds? Can he weather his own storm? Once he gets rid of that onslaught, exhausts his gas tank, what can he do from the second round on if Cormier chooses to let the fight go that long? So though your questions are really more about Rumble Johnson than they are about Daniel Cormier.
But I mean, I've been reading things about how, Johnson's significantly improved with his wrestling now, that he's going to be more disciplined and more focused, and he's in a much better mind state for this fight than he was for the first fight, which of course he did take on short notice. Do you think any of those factors are going to be in play here?
No. I mean, he hasn't even done it in practice yet. I mean, if we really look at Rumble's fights, every fight ends before he has an opportunity to even showcase his improved cardio or his greater ground game. It's one of two things are going to happen. He's going to either knock you out or he's going to lose the fight. And granted, he's been knocking everybody out except for somebody like Cormier. So I can't take anything that Rumble's camp has said, or Rumble himself has said, with a grain of salt, because I haven't seen this in practice as of yet. Okay,
so that brings us to maybe what might be the best bet of the year in all of MMA. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but the total is 1.5 rounds, right? The over is minus 155, the under is plus 135, but of course it is a championship fight scheduled to go 5 rounds. At 5 dimes right now, the fight won't go the distance at minus 425. That's got to be a lock. Is there any way this fight goes to the cards?
I don't see it. I don't see it unless Cormier makes it go to the cards. But I see even Cormier, knowing as dangerous as Rumble is, if he gets him down, he's going to try to wear him down to finish the fight, just like he did the first time around. There's no way I see this getting to the cards. The judges might as well go home.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it might actually be worth laying minus 425, and if it does go to the cards, I'll gladly eat those 4.25 units of losses there. All right, so I think we're in agreement then that if you do want to bet Johnson, because he is the slight favorite, why do you think that Johnson is actually the slight favorite here at minus 120? Cormier won the first fight and he's a champion.
I mean, it's kind of frustrating to see that, and if I'm Cormier, I'm wondering why as well, because I just choked the guy out the last time we fought. The equalizer is the knockout punch. There are questions regarding whether Johnson lands that same punch. Will he land a little bit lower? Will it be a little bit more square on the jaw? Because Johnson is going to land something. It's just a matter of if and when and how Cormier reacts to it. So I can kind of see why they're doing this. But if I'm a bet man, I'm sticking with Cormier. He's the champion for a reason. He's only lost to John Jones, his only loss in his professional career. I can't go away from Daniel Cormier in this fight.
All right, so but are we in agreement that if you do want to take Johnson, instead of taking him just to win at minus 120, take Johnson on the prop inside the distance at plus 120? Because if he does win, it's going to be inside the distance, right?
Absolutely. Like, stay away from Rumble completely unless you like bet that under, because that's the only way you're going to get it. He's not going 5 rounds and going to win a fight with Daniel Cormier. It's not happening.
But your prediction and your recommended bet at the current odds: Anthony Johnson -120, Daniel Cormier +100. You're on Cormier.
I'm on Cormier. I'm on Cormier and the under, because if Johnson doesn't finish him, Cormier will.
So you're on the under, even at 1.5 rounds +135.
Yeah, I take a shot at it because, I don't think Cormier is going to waste a lot of time. Even if Rumble can't get him out of there, Cormier is going to try to wear him down and get him out of there as quickly as possible. Who wants to waste time when somebody can knock you out with one punch?
Of course. I'm just thinking that, Cormier wants to extend the fight so that he can get it to the point where Johnson's winded. So I'm actually thinking that it might actually easily go over 1.5 rounds. I just think there's no way it actually goes the full 5 rounds, goes a distance, and take that at -425. But I could see it going over 1.5 rounds, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible. But, I just wouldn't mind taking a shot at the under, because either fighter can end this fight on the under.
All right, so Andreas Hale going to go with Cormier +100. And is your under pick an official pick or just a lean?
It's just a lean.
All right. I will make fight not going the distance at -425, an official pick, and I'll also give Johnson inside the distance at +120 as an official pick. I'll go head-to-head here with Andreas Hale. All right, now let's move on to the second huge fight on the card, which is Mousasi and Weidman. This is a tough fight for me to figure out. I'm not exactly sure what to make of Weidman here. Obviously, he's had 2 straight losses. His last loss was kind of a brutal knockout, but he wasn't getting dominated for those entire fights. He was actually looking pretty good most of the time, made some mistakes, and got stopped. So I'm not exactly sure, but now I'm starting to think that maybe his wins against Anderson Silva and even Lyoto Machida a little bit less impressive than they at first seemed. Hard to get a read on exactly where Weidman is right now. Would you agree with that, or do you feel like you have a good read on him?
I think I have a pretty good read on him. He's lost to elite competition. Romero's a guy who hadn't lost. Luke Rockhold was, pretty much the prince of the middleweight division ever since he arrived from Strikeforce. So there's no shame in losing to those guys in competitive fights. The real thing here is looking at Gegard Mousasi and how good is he seriously? Because how serious can you take him? Because he hasn't beaten elite competition like Weidman has. So I have a hard time with this, digesting the fact that I saw Weidman as an underdog at some places. I have to go with Weidman. I thought he would be at least a 2-to-1 favorite, but I guess we're looking at the losing streak and wondering mentally where he's at. But I don't think he's going to have any problems in this fight.
Right. I mean, also similar to the other fight, it's a little bit head-scratching that Mousasi is actually right now the very small favorite. I'm seeing -115 for Mousasi and -105 for Weidman on the other side. And yeah, I was thinking, I mean, just like as you said, obviously on paper, Mousasi would appear to have the momentum. But as you said, he's beaten a lower caliber of fighter. Weidman off of 2 losses that look pretty bad in the end. But as you said, against elite competition, and maybe this line is overreacting to that recent momentum on paper. Is that what you think is the case?
Absolutely. I mean, we look at it. Gegard Mousasi, he lost to Uriah Hall. He got the vengeance victory. Vitor Belfort, who's been pretty much run down. Thiago Santos. I mean, these are guys that Chris Weidman would just run over. So I think the odds makers are overreacting to Weidman's 2 losses and just looking at the end result, not looking at how competitive it was. Weidman was on his way to winning the fight with Yoel Romero before he got caught with that knee. So we're looking at this as the wrong way if you're going to bet on Gegard and think he has the momentum. I'm picking Weidman here 100%.
Okay, so that's going to be official pick for you, Weidman -105.
Absolutely.
All right, and I was also thinking maybe this fight might go the distance at -150. That Weidman might be a little bit more cautious and strategic. It's only scheduled for 3 rounds, of course. You think it goes the distance, or you think that's not a good bet? There's a decent chance that it actually ends inside the distance.
This is a tough one. Weidman, he's not a guy who necessarily goes the distance. I mean, he kind of puts it all out there, but he's been in 5-round fights since the Anderson Silva fight. So it's a little bit different. 3 rounds, you can kind of go a little bit harder and go a little bit faster. Weidman has a little bit more to prove. I don't know if he's going to be gun shy. Could be a factor. I'm 50-50 on this. I really don't know which way it's going to go.
It's just that like Mousasi strikes me as a guy who's sort of like intelligent and patient at times when he feels like that's the best way to approach a fight, and he might approach this fight in that manner. And if he does, we might see caution, early on, and it sort of a slower pace, and it goes a distance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the other thing we have to think about here is Gegard Mousasi is an adept Dutch kickboxer, but Chris Weidman's jiu-jitsu and ground game is severely underrated. And Gegard Mousasi, I believe 4 of his 6 losses have come by submission or knockout. So we're looking at a situation here. If Gegard's going to lose, he's probably going to get submitted or knocked out. And Weidman's the perfect guy to do it.
All right, so maybe a Weidman, maybe Weidman by sub would also be a good prop. I'm going to stay off this one then, but Andreas Hale putting his reputation on the line here, taking Chris Weidman minus 105, and that's the way I was leaning as well, thinking that the paper wins and losses for these two fighters is causing maybe a little bit of an overreaction on the line. All right, awesome breakdown, Andreas Hale. Then we got 3 other fights going on the main card, including a women's MMA bout with 2 fighters who have very little experience, actually fight experience. Both of them have only fought about 5 times in their lives. Pearl Gonzalez and Cynthia Calvillo. You have any recommended play from any of the other 3 fights on the main card?
Let me see. Cote and Alves is on the main card.
Yeah.
That I'm picking the under on. I have a feeling that between these 2 guys, the fight's going to stay standing. They don't go to the ground.
Right.
And Thiago Alves has a ton of power, even though he hasn't finished a guy in a while. But Cote has, and he's lost fights inside the distance as well. So I have a feeling this is going to go under, and these 2 are just going to kind of go balls to the wall and try to knock each other's heads off.
All right, sounds good. I kind of agree with that, and you're getting a nice line there. Under 2.5 rounds is plus 170. So, I kind of agree with that. If it was minus 110, I'd probably stay off. But getting all that plus money, I'm vaguely thinking the same way as you. Andreas Hale, thanks so much, as always. Talk to you again very soon.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.